Welcome to Common Sense Wellness with Dr. Gary Martin, the show that helps you take control of your health with clarity, confidence, and practical wisdom. Dr. Gary Martin has spent decades in clinical practice and natural wellness research, discovering that the key to lifelong vitality lies in understanding the body's signals before they become symptoms. Each week, we will explore simple science-backed methods like mineral testing, facial scans, and lifestyle adjustments that help you restore balance from the inside out. You'll also hear from expert guests and real clients who have turned their health challenges into stories of transformation. No gimmicks, no fads, just common sense wellness that works. Now, here's your host, Dr. Gary Martin.
Disclaimer. No diagnosis or treatment for disease is intended. Any observations or comments made by me are for general educational purposes only, and they simply represent my personal opinion regarding what I would do if I personally had the same concerns as the person voicing the question or comment. Please see a licensed health practitioner for all diagnosis, treatment, and information concerning prevention, cure, or restorative health care. I hold DN, DSC, PhD, DNM, and PSCD degrees. I am not a medical doctor. I'm not a licensed health practitioner by choice. This information is for educational purposes only. It is not meant to cure, treat, prevent disease, nor prescribe, nor to be used for diagnosis. Please be aware that you accept all risks associated with any of the protocols that we discuss.
Welcome to Common Sense Wellness. I'm Dr. Gary Martin. Tonight, I want to talk about something that goes far deeper than diet and supplements. The invisible program that has been running through your life since childhood. We call it the plan against your life. And once you understand what it is and how it works, you'll never look at your health, your relationships, or your repeating patterns the same way again. Let's get started.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the multitude. Notice, no diagnosis or treatment for disease is intended. Any observations or comments made by me are for general educational purposes only, simply represent my personal opinion regarding what I would do if I personally had the same concerns as the person voicing them. Please see a licensed health practitioner for all diagnosis, treatment, and information concerning prevention or cure or restorative health care. I am not a medical doctor. I'm not a licensed health practitioner by choice. I hold DN, DSC, PhD, DNM, and PSCD degrees. This information is for educational purposes only. It is not meant to cure or treat or prevent disease, nor to prescribe, nor to be used for diagnosis. Please be aware that you accept all risk associated with using any of the protocols mentioned by me. The purpose of the call is to answer questions and to share what it is that I have learned over my almost 50 years of doing this work. And this work is defined as basically learning how to know when you're getting sick so you don't have to be sick. And, you know, in today's, the way the medical system works and so forth today is everything's based on disease, you know. Oh, you have this problem, so therefore you need to take this drug, as though you have a deficiency of the drug. That's why you have the disease. So a lot of things that go on. Well, there's a lot of things in life that never made any sense to me. Maybe because I'm too thick to understand them. And so I set out on this trek thinking I wanted to be a chiropractor. I went to 2 different chiropractic colleges. And I spent almost maybe 3 years there until I realized that I really identified with, that's really where I understood that I really identified with the concept of the innate healing nature of the body. And that if we can just get rid of the resistance inside the body and the mind that is keeping the body from being self-healing, then we can take a break and let the body do its thing. I totally identified with that. It made so much sense to me. It never made sense to me to try to be smarter than God. You know what I mean? So anyway, enough of that. That's how I ended up doing this work, and I enjoy it. I'm intrigued by it. I'm constantly researching, and the older I get, the more pissed off I get at the bureaucrats, or the bureau, as I like to call them, and the whole thing. I mean, basically, what I've seen during my lifetime is that I really do believe that when I was growing up, we really did have a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And now we have a government of big corporation, and that makes me sick. All right, enough of that. Do we have any questions? Christmas is coming up. Hard to believe, isn't it?
Well, Dr. Martin, isn't this where MemGram processing comes in? That as we deal with our things, our stuff, it helps the body be freer to heal itself.
Yeah, knowing your MemGram is really synonymous with the plan against your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everybody has one, and there may be somebody else out there. I don't know, but I've never heard anybody.
I have no idea what he's saying.
I never heard. Hello there, Enid.
Hi.
We can hear you.
Well, now
Yeah.
I can hear you when I unplug my headphone.
Okay, all right. Well, I heard you say you couldn't understand what I was saying, so I wasn't sure whether it was because you couldn't hear me or because I wasn't making any sense when I was talking.
Oh no, you
because that can happen. All right, so back to this MemGram thing.
Thank you.
I've never heard anybody
Can I
else
make it bigger?
talk about it. Enid, if you can mute, unless you want to
Yes, I have to mute.
if you can mute, that'll be helpful. Ooh, I love the beard. I love the beard. Okay. There we go. All right. All right. Sorry, I got distracted there. I don't know. I'm in this crazy mood tonight. I don't know why.
That's fun.
So I've never heard anybody else talk about the plan against your life. Now, maybe it's out there. I mean, I've done a lot of reading in my life, but when I learned about the law of dichotomy, and the physical dimension in which we exists because of the law of dichotomy, male versus female, hot versus cold, rich versus poor. You can't have one without the other. It's the spread, the dichotomy spread, or as we call it, the chain, when we look at you on your MemGram chart. But one of the things that we were able to discover how to do is to figure out what the plan against your life is, because that plan against your life represents resistance. It represents the resistance that you have going through life, just trying to be you and do you and have you. And you have people and you have places and the circumstances and events, we call that PPCE, that show up, and it makes your life hard. It provides resistance. Well, that's the bad news. But the good news is that it's the resistance that produces wisdom. It's the resistance that produces growth, which is what Earth is all about. Earth is a school, and we're here in these physical bodies that we talk about. The physical body, your body is your mind made visible. So eventually, whatever it is that you hold in your head for long enough is going to show up in your body. Hello, Philip. And so that therefore your body is not necessarily the first domino. Now, that doesn't mean that if you have something that is finally manifested into your body and it's causing you physical ailments and symptoms or whatever the case is that you would be better off without, that doesn't mean that we can just say, oh, well, since the body is your mind made visible, all we got to do is pay attention to the mind and everything will be taken care of. That might be true if it hasn't shown up in the body. But once it shows up in the body, it's got mass going for it. And mass is a big deal. And so therefore you have to pay attention to it. You have to deal with it. You have to do it with diet and supplementation if you want to speed things up and all that. But you can't expect there to be long-term change, long-term improvement if you don't look at, well, what's the first domino? if the body is a mind made visible, then there's something going on in my head and been going on in my head for a very long time that caused this problem. So I have to deal with this problem, but I don't want to recreate it. And that's what people have been doing for as long as there's been people. Okay. Eventually, this explains why so many people I'm called bounce. They bounce from this doctor to that doctor to that practitioner to that and everyone, if you talk to them at any given time, oh, he's the greatest. Oh, I feel so much better and all that, whatever. And then you see him like 6 months later. Oh, I don't see him anymore. I'm on and the reason is because a lot of things work for everybody for a short period of time. When we talk about the MemGram, what we talk about is untying the knot. You can have a knot in your head and you can have a knot in your body. You can be tied up in this knot, heavy resistance. Well, the thing is that there's only one way to permanently untie a knot. Think about that. There's only one way to permanently untie a knot, but there's a jillion ways to loosen the knot.
Okay.
And loosening the knot is what is synonymous with all the different modalities and all the different healing things and this technique and all the different counselors and the way to do this and way to do that and all the different religions and there's something for everybody. Okay. Well, the problem is that there's only one way to permanently untie a knot. Well, I wanted to know what that way was. And that's the value of this thing called the MemGram chart. I'm talking about MemGram because Frida brought it up. And the value of the MemGram chart is it tells us what your knot is. It tells us who you really are. It tells us who it is you get to be. It tells us what the plan for your life is. It tells us what the plan against your life is. It tells us what your body is addicted to, which is always exactly the opposite of what your mind desires, always. And it tells us what your triggers are. And most importantly, it tells us the exact reverse order that you need to untie your knot. And that's a critical thing. So that's why I'm a big believer in this MemGram processing. We are the inventor of MemGram processing. We are inventor of that technique. We are not the inventor of the concept in which it was based on. I have a gentleman who died at age 40 to thank for that. His name was Joe Sconia Jr. A genius, absolute genius. All right. So questions. Got to be questions.
I remember in my lifetime, I've heard people say, close family members, well, this is just the way I am. So if a person feels that this is just the way they are, then MemGram processing really can't do much for them, right?
No, that person has basically succumbed.
Mm-hmm.
The job of the dark side is to convince you that this is just the way you are and this is just the way it has to be, and it always has been this way and it always will be this way, and so therefore it's the job of the dark side, because from as long as you're in that mode, you're an energy generator for the dark side. And there's a lot of energy generators for the dark side walking the streets today more than ever, which is a scary situation.
Yes.
So yeah, you have to be, in order for MemGram processing to help you be, do, and have you, which is why you were put here on this planet, you have to understand that there's something wrong and that you need more information to deal with it. than what you currently have, or life tomorrow is going to be just like it was today, just like it was yesterday. Nothing's ever going to change until you turn on the light. And that's what MemGram processing does. It basically turns on the light so that you can begin to see patterns. You can see the pattern, and you can stop taking anything personal. It's not personal. It never was personal. It's only meant to feel personal, because that is how the hormone dump happens. Your body has cells that are addicted to the opposite of what you want to have, to being and doing and having for your life. This is what you have to understand. This is what you're up against. And once you know what that is, then you can use that information to stop taking things personal.
Mhm. Dr. Martin, doesn't this, it's interesting to me, because I had one friend who was going to a psychiatrist for years. And isn't this where MemGram processing departs really from traditional psychiatric care, or working with a therapist, where the knot isn't untied? With my friend, it was a rehearsal over and over again of what had happened in her life.
Yeah, and
But
what has happened in there? Yeah,
nothing ever moved.
exactly, because there's no solution.
Right.
There's always a solution.
Yeah.
That's what you have to understand. There's always a solution. That's one of the reasons why, if I couldn't be who and what I am, I'm pretty sure I'd be some kind of a computer programmer. I love techie stuff, and I do a little bit of programming and whatever, but yeah, I know just enough to get myself in trouble. Okay. Why is that though? Because I know that there's always a solution. I know that it's something just has to be changed in the code, and then bingo, it works, and it works okay forever. It'll always be that way until we change the code. Well, you have a code in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And it was put there largely by the experiences that you had and the people that you were around for the first 12 years of your life. And that's the code that's in the cells. And the cells are looking for more of that. And so all we do is we continue to repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat,
Mm-hmm.
changing the people, changing the places, changing the circumstances, changing the events, but the same feeling is always there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we call traumas. These are the things that are disclosed on your MemGram chart. They're like tumors. They're invisible tumors. Those, just like if you had a brain tumor and it was pressing on something and it was going to kill you, if it kept growing or whatever, and they have that, you have to go in there and take that out. And when they take that out, life can be normal, let's say. Well, the same thing is true of all these traumas, these tumors, that all these experiences that you had, that you could point to any one of them and say, see, it's always been that way. Yeah, there they are, whatever. But nobody helps you understand and sees that pattern, so you can break the pattern.
So you can unwind the knot a little bit.
Exactly.
I know with my friend who was under psychiatric care for a number of years, I would have long conversations with her when she would tell me how she'd just gotten some extra insight. But what happened was the behavior did not change. And what excites me so much about MemGram processing, and friends, I've been doing it 30 years, is that you see yourself changing in behavior and how you process things and react to things. And this is very exciting to me.
Yeah, I had a interesting MemGram processing session today with a gal in Texas who had just moved to a new level. I think it was her level 3. Don't laugh, Rita. And I hadn't seen, and since she closed out her level 1, and had her level 3 information, it's been like, I don't know, a month and a half. since I talked to her, but it's because they were moving and they've been in the house for 40 some years, and they had that kind of a move, that whatever.
Big move.
So anyway, she gets on the phone and she spends the first 20 minutes telling me how excited she is about how different she is. About now she's in kind of a more of a community center sort of a setting. It's not assisted living, but it's it's that kind of an environment. So there's a lot more people around and whatever. And she says, so-and-so, you know what so-and-so did the other day? And whatever. Well, I'll tell you, before I started MemGram processing, I'd have been so mad, I'd have blown a gasket. But you know what I did? I told her that I forgave her.
Praise God.
And it was literally, I watched the clock and I says, I don't think she's ever going to show up. I haven't said a word. I said hello, and she's going on and on. Now, what is that? It's behavior. Why does her behavior change? Why does she have a totally different self-image and self-concept? Because she's beginning to understand her MemGram. She's beginning to understand what the plan against her life has been, how she's been controlled and manipulated, unbeknownst to her, for, in her case, 84 years.
God bless her.
So yeah. I mean, she sounded like a little kid in terms of the excitement, All right. Sorry, you're getting off on all that. All right.
Neat.
So what's anybody else? We got more people on the call here. Something you need to know, something you want to know about the BIA, something you want to know about the HMA, something you got a lab kit that you don't understand how to work, or all right. So we had what else who did I talk to today? Somebody yesterday. I was going to bring it up on the call. Oh, yeah, I'm going to share my screen now. Those of you that aren't on your computer, I'll try to talk in a way that makes sense, even though you can't see it. By the way, if you have my Learnistic app, the audios of these calls are on my app. I didn't get last week's on there yet. Sorry, I've just been, I don't know. I seem to get less and less done the older I get in any given day. It's like, or that either I just don't know how to say no. Probably that. On my Learnistic app, well, I don't want to take time up here right now finding it, but I'm not sure exactly where it is myself, but it's on there. And if you're a subscriber to the Be Your Own Doctor newsletter, you have access on my Learnistic app to the videos of the call. Otherwise, it's just the audio of the call. That's how that works. Oh, I was going to share my screen. Yeah. So let me see if I can make this work. Okay, I'm screen sharing. Yeah, I had an interesting chat today with a gal who did an HMA in May. So here's the first page of her report. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to call attention to the energy ratings for the HMA. Now, the reason why we do a hair mineral analysis, why do we do the hair mineral analysis? It's because minerals are the basic building blocks of your body. No amount of right anything is going to work for you in the long run if you allow your mineral levels or your ratios to get out of balance. Why? Because it's the foundation. It would be like pouring a foundation, and then after it's set, or whatever they call it, this huge crack, occurred in the middle of the foundation, and you decided, well, it didn't shift any. There's just this crack. I'm going to just go ahead and build the house anyway. And then 10 years later, your house splits in two or something because it really split. All right, you wouldn't think about doing that, and yet people do that every day with their bodies. Most people take better care of their car than they do their bodies. So the thing about minerals are that, I mean, there really isn't anything exciting about minerals until you really learn about what effect they have on the body emotionally, as well as physically. But when we do the hair mineral analysis, we do that because we want to find out if there's anything going on at the mineral level that is keeping the body from being a lean, mean, energy generating machine. And we used some energy ratings that we calculate to do that. Now, I thought it was interesting. The reason why I'm showing this is because this is one of the best HMAs that I've seen for somebody who is 84 in a very long time. And here I am talking to her about today, but it was 7 months ago, almost 7 months ago. It was May.
Thank you for tuning in to Common Sense Wellness. The real work of health starts on the inside, and tonight you got a real look at just how deep that goes. If you want to learn more about MemGram processing or explore the BIA and the hair mineral analysis, visit BIRI.org. We'll be here next week. Take good care of yourself. See you next episode.
Thanks for listening to Common Sense Wellness with Dr. Gary Martin. To learn more about the testing and resources we discussed, or to find out how you can take charge of your own health, visit BIRI.org. You'll find valuable information, free tools, and ways to connect directly with our wellness community. That's BIRI.org. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe and share the show with someone who's ready to take their next step toward better health.